Hey everybody, it's Madam Ancestry. Hope you guys are having a great Family Friday. Family Friday is something that I tried to implement to help families bond a little more, whether it be going out to eat, going skating. You guys could sit down and go through the family photo album and talk about family history, but I just urge you all to just do something with your family, and I hope that you all have been pretty consistent with doing that. Every Family Friday, y'all know that I've been posting something fun that I've been doing with my family. And this time I chose not to do that. There is something that has been on my mind that I decided to talk about instead for Family Friday. And so for this Family Friday, my message is to the parents, and I am urging you to please stop lying to your children. That is my message to you on this Family Friday. We're not naive. We all know how babies are made. So I'm going to start with the men first. And ladies, please believe I'm coming back around to you too. It is a terrible thing for a man to know that he has a child and he just completely refuses to take care of his responsibilities. Now, if you know that you do not want a baby, and you know that you are not in the place financially where you want to be to take care of a baby, then you shouldn't, as my sister would say, you shouldn't be out here freestyling, okay? You shouldn't if you know you can't pay the cost of it, okay? And if that's the case and you want to jump out here and risk it anyway, then you need to make sure you have enough money to get a DNA test done to know that this child is yours, and you need to step up to the plate and take care of your responsibility. I personally don't know the feeling. I don't know what it's like to not know who my father is. My parents were married and until the day my mom died. So I never had any questions about who is my father, what does he look like, how come he doesn't want me, so forth and so on. But I have seen that through other people, through other relatives, through friends. And it breaks my heart when I see these individuals, wanting to make contact with their father, and the father just, he's like, whatever. No, he doesn't want anything to do with them. I mean, it's such a hurtful thing to watch, and you see the hurt that they go through. You see the confusion that they have. And in some cases, they wind up becoming emotionally and psychologically unstable in various areas of their lives. It just breaks my heart to see that. And to the men, it is an abominable thing for you to have a child, and you know that you have a child, and you refuse to acknowledge that child, and you refuse to take care of that child. Taking care of a child is more than just writing them a check every month, okay? You have to spend time with that child. You have to invest in that child. You have to nurture that child and help build that child up. And eventually one day they will grow into a productive and thriving adult and continue on with the next generation. But just to know that you have a child and to just say, well, I don't want anything to do with that, or you think you're done with the mother and you don't want to be involved in that situation anymore. Whatever your relationship and your situation is with the mother of that child has nothing to do with you taking care of your responsibility and raising your child and raising that child right. Just be glad I'm not in charge of the world, because if I had a courtroom full of men that I just knew who just said, oh, yeah, I know that's my child and I just choose not to, all of y'all would be castrated and thrown in jail. So thank the Lord that I'm not in charge of the world. So I'm urging you today, examine yourself. And if you know that you fall into that category, I mean, a man who just chooses not to take care of his child, that's irresponsible, that's immoral, and you are a sorry excuse for a man. So just start today. The buck stops here. Just realize the buck stops here. This is my child. I know this is my child. This is my responsibility. And I'm going to step up to the plate and do whatever I need to do. It has nothing to do with the mother of that child. If y'all's union has dissolved for whatever reason, oh well, too bad. I'm sorry for you. But you have a child in the picture now, and that's where your focus should be, taking care of that child. Ladies, okay. I know that it's a difficult thing for you to sit there and have conversations with your children and be transparent about them as far as how they got here. But you're going to have to sit down and have that tough conversation with them. And I know you feel like there are certain circumstances that maybe you may not be most proud of. We all make mistakes, okay? Nobody's here to point the finger, but just know we all make mistakes. You're going to have to sit down and have those conversations with them, and you may be embarrassed and you don't want your children to view you in a negative light. But while you're trying to come out smelling like a bed of roses, withholding that information from them, you are scarring them for life, basically. You know, like I mentioned about them being hurt and being confused and being emotionally unstable. Just, you know, you have to give them that information, because while you may not have a connection to that man anymore, they are forever going to be connected to that man because they share DNA. You know, that's just the bottom line. So just tell them what it is, because they're looking for that. They're looking for answers. They're looking for closure. And they may reach out to the person, and if he doesn't want to be there, you know, they will have to deal with that. But you cannot deny them that information. We hope that when they do reach out to them, that they'll say, hey, yeah, let's start today, brand new, and we're going to build this relationship. But I think I've mentioned before about my mom, and she never knew her father. And I used to ask her questions all the time. You know, tell me about your father. And she would oftentimes tell me to shut up. She didn't want to talk about it. We're not talking about this today, whatever. And I didn't really understand. And so one day out of the blue, she just walked up to me and told me what his name was. And so she said, that's the only thing I know about him. I've never seen him before. He left me when I was a baby. All I can tell you is his name. And she said, and that's all I know. And she walked out of the room. So for her, it was a hurtful thing and embarrassment for her to not be able to know anything about him, not have another part of your being that you can identify with. And her mother, her family, they never talked about him. At the time, we didn't know why. But I've been able to make contact with one of my mom's first cousins, whom she never got to know of or never got to meet. And in my conversation with this individual, she began to shed some light on that situation for me. So I said, okay, well, this thing, maybe it played out a little bit differently than what we had previously been told, you know. So it may not have been true neglect, but he definitely had some other issues going on that made it hard for him to cope with his day-to-day responsibilities. And so just the time they were living in, it was a stigma associated with it, and people didn't want to talk about it. So they said he just got up and left. And according to the other story, it didn't quite go that way. So like I said, just tell them what they want to know. If they want to know their name, tell them, you know, just lay it on the line. Hey, we were in a relationship. No, maybe we hooked up, or, you know, he just wasn't who I thought he was. He started out to be a good guy, but he's not such a good guy anymore, yada, yada, yada. And let them decide what they're going to do with that information. Don't withhold that from them. And also, you know, there have been situations where maybe the mother didn't want anything to do with the biological father of the child, and they just decided they're going to name the kid or children after somebody else who is not even the father. If a man decides to take on a woman with children, and he decides, I'm going to accept these children and adopt them and take care of them and whatnot, that's a completely different situation. But to put names on a child or children, and you know the person they're named for is not their father, that's not right. And you need to get the name changed ASAP. I mean, that's irresponsible. And you're going to create a bigger problem for that child down the line as they grow up and have questions about, well, I thought you said it was this, or I thought I was related to this person, and I thought this was my name. And the whole web of lies just starts to unravel. So I'm getting off my soapbox now, but I hope I've given you enough to think about, and I hope that you will get with your child or your children and have these discussions with them. Men, I hope that you will step up to the plate and take care of the children that you created and take care of your responsibilities. And women, I hope that you have the conversation with them to give them the information they need to know to put the rest of the pieces of the puzzle together on their other side of the family. For all of you individuals who are the product of these unions and you are seeking out these answers for your own closure and whatnot, you know, keep pushing, and they may not give you the information you want right away. Sometimes it just takes a little more prod and a little more prod. And, you know, I can't tell you how many years went by of me nagging my mother about who her father was before she finally just decided one day, this girl is not going to leave me alone, so I better just tell her what she wants to know. You have a right to know this information, and they can't withhold it from you. I mean, they can say, I don't want to talk about it or whatever. That's selfish, because they don't want to deal with what they did. And I mean, like I said, we all make mistakes. Just deal with it. Hey, that was a long time ago. Let's deal with the here and now. This is what I need to know. Tell me his name. Tell me where he's from. Tell me where his people are from. How did you guys meet? You know, so I hope that when you get this information and you go on to make contact with your father, I hope it's a great experience. I hope he's receptive, and I hope that, you know, you all are able to build a relationship and move on from there. Just also, please prepare yourself, because sometimes they don't go, those kind of meetings don't go as we envision in our minds. And we may think, oh, this is going to be a great thing, and he's going to bring me to the family barbecue, and I'm going to get to meet grandma and everybody on that side of the family. And he may not want that relationship, okay? So you have to prepare yourself to deal with that, you know, emotional blow if he decides that he doesn't want that relationship. Now, we're hoping that everything works out, and he does. But I would say, too, if you want to make that connection with your other side of the family, and let's say, suppose he chooses that he doesn't. There are other people on his side of the family, his mother, maybe he has other children. Maybe he has brothers and sisters. I would reach out to those people. If you want that connection with your family, make that connection, okay? Nobody can stop you from making that connection, okay? So also, y'all, remember to go on Facebook and check out my Facebook page, Madam Ancestry. Remember to go ahead and like my page. You can also follow me on Twitter at Madam Ancestry. And don't forget to check out my blog, madamancestry.blogspot.com. Talk to you later.